Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can use Root Riders alongside the Electro Titans here at Townhall 17 to 3-star any base. So typically when it comes to Root Riders, we are going to be bringing them in alongside Valkyries, but actually our good friend Yappy Boy has found out that Electro Titans are also a very viable option because of their aura. They're going to help you crush through the base, deal with those clan castle troops nice and quickly, and honestly they just generate far more damage through the core of the base than Valkyries typically do with their higher hit points. Valkyries are a little bit squishy and tend to go down fairly quickly. Rather than that early burst damage, we are going to end up seeing the damage towards the back end. So what we're going to be doing here is, first of all, funneling. We of course want to create a little bit of a funnel, pretty much the same as any attack you do in Clash of Clans, and ideally what we're looking to do is use either our king or our queen to clear out a section. And in this particular one, we're going to use our king with the spiky ball, and he is going to be pushing in to grab that single target inferno. Now, even though it's probably going to win the 1v1 battle, we have the Phoenix, which is going to help us clear that down. Up here at this top section of the base, the Siege Barracks is going to be used to help clear out some of those buildings, and you guys also would have seen we have just used our Queen's ability, which went off the giant arrow, went through the core, activating that invisibility tower. It's very important trying to get an activation on that earlier than later, just so we can get it down and it's not going to make the town hall invisible. Pushing through this one, we have those Electro Titans pushing on through with those Root Riders, and because we've created such a good funnel early on here, the majority of those Root Riders and Electro Titans with our healers, Queen, and Grand Warden all pushing right into the core of the base. The Royal Champion, when she comes in, you guys can see is pushing alongside our clan castle troops and the Siege Barracks troops along that right hand side, again helping to keep those Root Riders and the Electro Titans in the core of the base. Now typically in these sort of attacks, you're going to have one section of the base that is going to cause you a little bit of grief or even potentially lure your troops away, and in this particular one it was this section right here. So that's where we're going to be using those overgrowth spells. It allows your troops to go all the way around them, and then you can go ahead and finish off with that section of the base. But look at the sheer number of troops, heroes, and everything that we still have left. We even have a double free spell to go ahead and swag on this one, because we know for a fact this base is completely crushed. We still have the Royal Champion ability as well with those all important electro boots. This one utterly crushed. So we'll jump in and take a look at the next one, but before we do that, if you guys do want to grab the army link, it is of course down in the description below, so you can check that out and grab that link so you can use it here at Townhall 17. Alright, next up, we again coming in with this kind of centralized town hall compartment, and we're seeing a lot more people running these with the invisibility spell towers, and like I said, that is where the giant arrow from that queen ability is going to come in really strong, because it's going to allow us to use her ability, push through, early activation on the invisibility tower, and it means we don't have to worry about it causing us any grief as we push through to that town hall compartment in the center. But first things first, we are going to be using our troops here to try and set up a little bit of a funnel. So a couple of those super barbarians going to be pushing on through, and then we're going to see our king coming in from this left hand side of the base. When it comes to equipment, of course we saw those earthquake boots in action early on in the last one, but we also have the spiky ball for this particular one. On the queen, giant arrow and the healer puppet. For the Grand Warden, we have the rage gem and the eternal tome, and then the Royal Champion, we showed that one already, the hog puppet with those electro boots. There is the queen's ability, and there is the early activation of that invisibility tower. King's done a beautiful job funneling over for us here on that left hand side of the base. We have the Royal Champion, of course, going to be coming in from that top section, and we have the Siege Barracks all funneling, doing a nice work early on, and there is that overgrowth spell. We did start to see some of our troops potentially wander off because we maybe were a little bit late with our Siege Barracks and Royal Champion, or we were maybe a little bit early with our Root Riders and and Electro Titans, but regardless, we're going to be pushing into the core of this one anyway. When it comes to using those overgrowth spells, like I said in the previous attack, you can use them to help with the funneling and also use them on a heavy section of the base. Just be careful that you don't use them and end up time failing, because I have actually seen that happen. We're going to go ahead and use that heal spell just to help keep our troops alive as we push through the back end of this one. You want to try and use it when you're under some pretty heavy fire, just to keep those troops up and happy and healthy. Poison spell, just in case of any clan castle troops. Of course, it looks like we've actually held on to this one right here, but we're going to push on through the back end regardless. The Royal Champion still going super strong as well. That Spirit Fox helping to keep her going. Queen still somehow on just about full HP. Loads and loads of those Root Riders in there as well. And even though looks like we've lost those Electro Titans, we know for a fact they would have got plenty of value in the core of that base. And of course, because we made this section invisible with that overgrowth spell, we are going to come in and we are going to take it down. RC ability going to get popped off there on the back end, and with these final few elixir storages going down, this one finishes with the 3-star. One more example for us to jump in and take a look at. Let's hop on over and break it down. Alright, here we go. Again, that centralized town hall, though in this one it looks like we're running the double poison tower, which can be a little bit nasty, especially when you come in with Root Riders. But regardless, we're going to pick a section of the base here that we think our king is going to be able to clear out with the help of that spiky ball and those earthquake boots. First things first, like I said, you want to identify a section that's not only going to get some pretty decent value, but is also going to allow you to help to create that funnel. So for us, it's going to be over from this right hand side. We're going to use these super barbarians to clear out a couple of buildings. That means our king is definitely guaranteed to go into the section of the base that we want them to, which for us is going to be in towards these elixir storages and that all important scatter shot. Now unfortunately the minion prince is in here, which is going to cause us a little bit of a headache, but we use that ability right there and that's going to clear out this entire right hand side compartment. Royal Champion Queen's going to be coming in with that early ability, shooting off that giant arrow, actually clearing out a couple of buildings early on this one. Siege Barracks as well as the Royal Champion going to be coming in from that top section. Need to get a little bit of a move on with that funnel just so our Root Riders and Electro Titans push into the core of the base. And when it comes to using our spells, typically you're going to want those rage spells to go ahead and catch as many of our troops as possible, including our healers, because those healers are very important to try and keep our troops alive as we make some progress through into the base. Single and multi-target infernos both causing a few headaches in the core, so of course we're going to use that overgrowth spell because we can see that those defenses right there, including the monolith, the ricochet, the spitter, and the single target inferno, potentially causing us a little bit of a headache. Rage spell again, can use it on the back end of this one just to help keep our troops alive and increase the outward DPS. Royal Champion still creating so much work and value over there on that left hand side of the base. Double freeze spell on this one. Rage spell going to be going down, helping us just to push through these final few buildings. But I absolutely have fallen in love with this strategy because even though Root Riders are typically classed as a spam based strategy, for me there's still lots of skill involved in this strategy that I still feel like I'm actually doing a lot of the planning and the execution. It's not just mindlessly spamming in Root Riders. Suddenly you've got to think about where you're dropping your king, funneling him in, creating that funnel with the Siege Barracks and the Royal Champion, then trying to get your spell timing and placement correct with the remaining portion of your army. It's super strong, but it's very fun to execute. And look how dominant these are. All of these attacks you guys have seen today have been unbelievably overpowered. Lots of swag spells, lots of swag troops. It's awesome to see such a wide variety of strategies available here at Townhall 17. And if this is one that you think takes your fancy, link is down in the description. You guys can pick it up and let me know while you're down there in the comments if you're going to give this one a shot. But until the next video, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.